Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Reaper Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Ant-Man. Yes, Ant-Man. That amazing little movie that actually managed to do what they somewhat expected it to do. So they expected to make at least 60 to 65 million, and it came out at 58. Not bad, not bad. Of course, they weren't expecting a super big opening, and it did pretty well, relatively well, and it's definitely an awesome movie. It's definitely different from the other ones due to the fact that it's a little bit more lighthearted than the other ones. I think if it was with Hank Pym, a little bit darker, maybe a little bit, yeah, a little bit, it would have been different for sure. But I did like the opening sequence. So for those of you who haven't seen it, you know, I say you definitely go see it. If you love the other Marvel movies, you'll definitely enjoy this one as well. It's definitely more lighthearted. You definitely take the kids to it. They'll enjoy it as well. But as far as the movie goes, pretty cool, solid story. Nice action. They have great action. I think Paul Rudd cast as Scott Lang is definitely something different. I wasn't expecting him to do, what he did, but Paul Rudd definitely had some Paul Rudd moments in there where you see some of his, his mannerisms. But I think he did a pretty decent job, and he definitely got into shape for the role, which was a plus. Definitely a plus. Now, we're going to jump into spoilers right now. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to turn away now. Alright, since you stayed, you might have seen the movie. So of course the opening sequence is not really much of a spoiler, but for people who haven't seen it, kind of might be, is. So of course you get Peggy Carter, she's there. You have Howard Stark's dad, that was in Iron Man 2, in the newsreel that they had. And then you have a young Hank Pym, talking about, they're meeting up at S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're talking about, the Pym particle and wanting to use it and they don't want to use it. But they also, make a reference to Janet, and, we don't know what the hell happened with that. But I love how the fact that when they jump on later on, they mentioned Janet being the Wasp, and they show her, they actually do a little flashback. I wasn't expecting that. That was a pretty cool reference back to it, and actually showing her doing her thing as the Wasp. Now, when you have Ant-Man, Scott Lang, walking around, with the suit trying to get things going. It was pretty cool how they did and how they showed his training. When they finally show him, going to basically steal a piece of equipment that they need, and they find out that's the Avengers' new headquarters, and he ends up going up against Falcon. It was definitely a memorable moment. One I think was hilarious and amazing and awesome all at the same time. Now, it was cool because, you get to see the first, his first, fight against an actual Avenger. And, yeah, he won, but, of course, Falcon wasn't ready for it. But you know what? When you're an Avenger, you have to be ready for anything. So, that was that. Now, you fast forward all the way to the very end of the movie, and then you have, of course, Hope Van Dyne's gonna have her own little, her little Wasp suit. They have that ready. And fast forward all the way to the very end credits. You get a picture of Bucky just looking like he just went, basically looking like he just beat up and tired. They have Cap talking to Falcon, and they basically, looking for somebody to help, and they reference Tony Stark, and he goes, no, I don't trust Tony. So basically this is, of course, the whole thing that's leading up to the Civil War, and Falcon, of course, references saying that he knows a guy that can help him, and of course that's Ant-Man. But I also like the little Easter egg they had in the movie. If you weren't paying attention, the whole Spider-Man reference, that was an amazing reference right there. If you did not catch it, it's quick. If you're not paying attention, hopefully you're paying attention, because it was pretty obvious. They go, yeah, we got a guy who could jump, crawl on swing and crawl on the walls. I'm like, Spider-Man. That's all you could be referencing right there. That was a pretty cool reference. Now, as far as the movie goes, and if you're joining us, this is the non-spoiler part of the movie, section. This was actually a totally different movie. It's definitely lighthearted. You have, scenes where it's just there's a lot of light moments, and of course it's because it's him trying to get back into his daughter's life, and it can't be that dark. I guess they're trying to keep it light, but I know it's probably going to get a little bit darker. Not too dark, but back into the Marvel way of getting how dark things were, darker tone. But as far as the movie goes, this is a great intro into Ant-Man, and I know Ant-Man is not like an A-list hero that everybody knows about, like how Iron Man and everybody else is now. It's like he's gonna get there, but as far as his first opening goes, it's definitely an amazing opening for a guy who basically wasn't an A-list hero, I guess. He's just a, I don't know what kind of, probably I think a B-lister. But as far as it goes, I mean, they did an amazing job. So I give it up to Marvel. Did a really good job. Now I'm excited to see what they're going to do for the next one, which will be Captain America, Civil War, and also the whole new Daredevil Season 2, and the Jessica Jones, which will be happening later on this year. So, in the comments below, guys, let me know what you guys saw of the movie. Whether you liked it, hated it, or maybe they should have got somebody else besides Paul Rudd, or if they should have went darker with the movie instead of keeping it lighthearted. Let me know what you guys think about it. Alright, hit that like button, hit that dislike button. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.